Hello, beautifuls. I'm just checking everything before I sit back and tune in with you. Massively called to come sit with you today and share something. And I'm not exactly sure what the words are going to be, but I feel like it's literally just coming through my body. So I'm just going to sit here and channel what's coming through. Let me just check. I've got everything working and we're good and we're live. Okay, hello, beautifuls. Oh, Michelle, you're there. Hello, beautiful. Really glad that you're watching. Okay, so as I ground myself into this, what wants to come through, it's been happening now for a while, getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And as I prepare to share with you today what I'm going to share, I'm going to invite you to actually sit back and get comfortable and feel this with me. Okay, this is not just a message, and I'm not even, it's not even really a discussion. I'm inviting you to sit back and participate in something that's coming through me right now. And this is essentially a call to birthing, a call to birthing. Yep, turn your phones off, everyone. Get comfy. Let's tune in. This is a call to birthing the new earth for all the divine feminines out there. Women, whether you have a womb or you just have a sacral space, a space of your divine feminine. I'm going to talk about this more. I'm inviting you to tune in with me right now. And this is not just for today, but ongoing. And I'm inviting the masculines, you divine masculines out there, to lean in, pay attention, be present, and breathe, and connect to your inner knowing with us. It takes the masculine and the feminine to birth. It takes men and women to birth. So divine masculine, divine feminine principles of the one source, the one wholeness, the one breath of life, if you like, the one universe, the one love, the one truth, the unity consciousness, source. I call it creator source. From that one source, births masculine and feminine, the creatress, the creator, God, matter, Gaia, light, density, yin yang, alpha and omega, right? We know this. And for a divine conception to happen, a polarity, a polarization is happening where you have a very pure masculine essence and a very pure feminine essence, to each hold the balance, to each hold the spectrum of that oneness, the spectrum being male and female, light and dark. And so this is what I am experiencing happening for all of us right now, is this polarization into our masculine and our feminine. And I know there's lots of mixed genders and mixed sexualities out there. And so this isn't in conflict to any of that, okay? This isn't, I'm not even going down that route. I'm talking about those principles of masculine and feminine and polarizing into that one, which is your divine essence. And I'm also talking about, because essentially we're talking about physical human beings here. We're talking about a physical earth, and we're talking about the birthing of a new earth. What does that look like? We're in existential crisis right now, except it's not. It's just the old system is falling away, as was always planned, as was always meant to happen, because you cannot create something new from the bedrock of something old. You can't build a new world on old foundations and expect to get a different result. For a new world to be birthed, you got to clean the slate. If you, for example, we can think about our own lives, right? We know That even though we're this pure, innocent, beautiful spirit that was birthed into a human form, when the moment we became tangible, the moment we became a physical human incarnate, but we didn't remain pure because of the foundations we were born into. And the foundations we were born into was, our immediate foundation was our parents, and the inherent conditioning, the trauma, the unresolved wars, the unresolved resentments, the unresolved pain, suffering, guilt, shame, you name it, hatred, anger, distrust, fear, that remained in our parents, that was present in our parents, in their subconscious, unconscious, and conscious mind. So in that, within their energy field, within their mental landscape and their belief systems, and within their emotional landscape, largely untrodden, largely the road less traveled within our parents' generation. And then what was buried deep in the cellular consciousness history of humanity, the ancestors, the wars, the betrayal, the ignorance that has prevailed on this planet for a very long time and has not had resolve. It hasn't had peace. It hasn't been brought to the surface to be healed, or it has been over the last 50 years or so. But largely there's still so much to be unhealed. So we know when we get birthed through these parents, we have our pure, innocent, divine spirit, and yet we get contaminated, because that conditioning impacts us. It's the environment we're born into. It impacts us. And it doesn't just impact us as an environment. Okay, now I'm a child and I'm in the world, and that conditioning, that programming, that unresolved trauma that's unspoken in the air all the time and being communicated and transmitted into your brain, either verbally or just, you know, on that mental level. Thoughts create things, right? So the thoughts of your parents are literally creating you. You're being transmitted to on a constant basis, and an emotional transmission, and the whole thing, the whole context of your upbringing has had its impact on you. It's the foundation that you were born into. So you know that this foundation you were born into has impacted your purity, has impacted your spirit on a very deep level, and that you then have struggled, and each one of us has our own story, but each one of us has struggled to be that purity, that love vibration, that essence that we are, uncontaminated, free of the conditioning that we inherited as our foundation. And in a little while on this live with you now, I'm going to take it into a deeper level and talk about the conditioning that happens in the womb and even pre-womb, before you were born. I want to share that with you on a much deeper level. But let's just for now say that what you are born into, the world, the society, the conditioning, the culture that you're born into, the history, the time in the moment in history that you're born into, is the foundation. And so you know that you have to clean from yourself and decondition, debug, deprogram, cleanse, restore, renew, make peace, heal yourself as the foundation that you've inherited, just so that you can be, your divine, beautiful, pure, innocent essence, and build your life anew. Because you build on a foundation of pain, you will have a life of pain. You build on a foundation of mistrust, you have a life of mistrust. You're born into a foundation of lies and ignorance and cover-ups and denial. You will have to, clear that in order for you to not repeat that story. History keeps repeating, year after year, generation after generation, lifetime after lifetime, because we haven't cleaned the history. If you think of the layers of the earth, how many layers of history there are for humanity on this planet, how deep the conditioning goes, how deep the ignorance goes. That's our foundation, guys. That's what we were born onto this earth that we stand on right now, literally beneath our feet, is that really almost unfathomable depth of unresolved history, of our ignorance as a species. We're literally standing on it. It's a literal physical foundation. And so when I talk about birthing a new earth, what does that mean? It means massive upheaval, massive ghosts rising from the grave, because we all know about ghosts not being in peace, right? Pretty much everyone believes in ghosts these days. And, you know, a lot of us see them. I know I do. I see spirits all the time, and you guys probably see spirits too. But, you know, we know that we bury an ancestor's body. That doesn't mean that our ancestor rested in peace, right? Because you can bury a physical body, but you cannot bury emotional trauma. You cannot bury mental dysfunction. You can't bury a spiritual being at unrest. You cannot bury spirit. And so we think we can bury the past, but we can't. So all that we believe that we've buried in our ignorance, in our attempt to move forward and forge forward, and, you know, industrial age, technological age, space age, to achieve, to have this technology, and to finally, you know, attain some kind of, I don't know, new world order. And you can take that either way. You can take that, the new world order, as in, you know, the dark side new world order, like the Darth Vader version that's going on, or you can take that, you know, let's put a positive spin on. And even if we could create a peaceful harmony with all the technology and all of the industry and all of the blah blah, it's like, come on, with the AI, you know, like the Elon Musk version is what I'm thinking of, you know, the peaceful AI where we finally get to, you know, evolve as a species and we have this better future. I'm like, that's not going to happen. You simply cannot create harmony from disharmony. You simply can't create peace from war. You simply can't create knowledge and knowing from ignorance. And we have buried so much as a species, as a collective humanity. And so if we're going to birth a new earth, we're going to create a new earth. Unless we want a destructive future, as destructive as it has been in the past, we have to clear the way. We have to clear the destruction. We have to heal the destruction. We have to let all that was destructive in history so far come to peace, come to rest. And that's what we're experiencing now. It's a bit like you have a toxic waste ground and you want to build a new city on top of it. You have to clear the toxic waste first before you put the city on top. That makes sense, right? So think of it in that way. Our whole earth is toxic. What we've buried in the past is toxic. We see one movement, Black Lives Matter, and then we see another movement about something else, and then we see another movement, because there are so many subsectors of humanity, which is really a part of all of us, to be honest. It's not even a group of people. But the history belongs to all of us. We were all part of it. It's all of our ancestors that created that together. It's not just one small group of people over here or one over here. But essentially, like, there's so much healing to be done that, yes, it needs to come up and have a voice. Yes, it's going to explode as protests or riots or news or, you know, something, because there's so much history of pain and suffering and ignorance that needs to be voiced for it to be healed. So we can bet, you know, when was it, 2 years ago, Me Too movement, you know, we're going to have a lot more voices rising up saying, yes, me too. Yes, this matters. Yes, this matters. And that's part of the healing, for things to come up to the surface and be seen and heard. That really, really needs to happen. And yet there's also so much that wants to be seen and heard. How do we actually, what's the most healthy, what's the most efficient and ideal, effective way of hearing it all? Because there's so much. Everyone's got a story, everyone's got a voice, everyone's got an opinion. How do we actually listen to all of that? And how do we respond? How do we participate in the healing of this history? Because we're the ones that are alive now on the surface, walking around on our 2 feet on the surface of this planet with more awareness, more consciousness than any generation previous to us. And it is incumbent upon us now as the awakened ones, or the most awakened ones right now, to actually really align with what really, really needs to happen. And I'm not talking about political agenda needs to happen. I'm not talking about the next issue that needs to be demonstrated. I'm not talking about some righteous movement. I'm talking about actually what is happening and what we need, or I would prefer us to connect to, what I'm choosing to connect to with the awareness that I have. And it's on the most fundamental, elemental, essential level. And that is for this birthing of a new earth. And we think about future generations. What kind of world are we creating for our children? What kind of world are we creating for our children's children? What kind of world does our inner child want to live in? Let's really connect to that for a moment. And who do we have to be? And what act of service or alignment do we need to be in to enable that? Just to simply, I don't feel like it's an action we have to go out and do. It's more of a, let's drop in, tune in, and not just react. I know I've got to do this, or I know I've got to start that. I feel like it's more of a, actually what is happening. Let's align with what's happening here. And I'll go back to the sexes now. Actually, I picked that part up because I almost forgot. So when it comes to procreation of humanity, putting all, gender differences or sexual preferences aside, how children are created is with a male sperm and a female ovum. There can be no confusion about that. It's polarized, male and female. It's like you try and have transgender electrical currents, but forgive me, believe me, I'm not making any kind of judgment here. I'm not making any kind of statement either. I'm simply saying, if you want electric, you need a positive and a negative. And together you get the current, you get the charge, you get the electricity that you need, you get the energy, you get the connection between those two nodes, male and female. And it's exactly the same with us as men and women. And I need to polarize it like that to understand the seed and the ovum, the masculine and the feminine essences. Really focusing on the polarization of this, that we each carry, however we represent ourselves, something else is there within. And maybe this doesn't apply to all people, okay? And if it doesn't apply to you and you don't feel included as part of this, then there is also other, okay? I totally believe in there being like the star beings, people of neutral gender, or however is the best, way to say it. So I'm not saying that, you've got to fit into one of these two camps. You don't. Wherever you fit, you know where you fit. You don't need me to tell you where you fit, how you feel belonging. That's completely your own personal relationship to yourself and to the universe. Is really none of my business. But what I'm trying to express is something about creation going forward. Okay, and there is a place for everybody in creation, because we've all been created. And even those of us of neutral gender or whatever, varying sexuality, you were still created from a seed, a sperm, and an egg. That part doesn't change. And this is where it's really important. And this is where it's also really potent, is coming right back to these essential things, like get the head out of the way, get the dialogue or the debate, if you like, out of the way. That's not important right now. We're talking about something that's absolutely fundamental. Creation is a seed and an egg. And going forward, what quality of seeds and eggs for our future generation are we going to create? Because essentially future only exists through our children. If we stopped having kids today and there was no more children born on this planet, you can see how quickly the future would peter out. There would be no future. The world might carry on and the creatures might carry on, but human beings wouldn't. So to us, in our world, there is no future, right? We don't exist to have a future. So the future of humanity isn't about the politicians. It isn't about any of the insanity that is being played out right now, which is also very necessary for the destruction of the old system, because it's bringing to light a lot of the old shit that we have so long ignored. We've literally been, it's like we've been walking around like this going, I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to see it. I'm just going to focus on my little screen and my little box and my little version of reality. And I don't want to see the rest. And it's like our eyes are being opened, our broadband is being activated, broadband of awareness is being activated so that we can actually open our eyes and take in the peripheral vision, take in what we weren't willing to see before, and actually acknowledge it and see all the stuff that's been coming up for the healing, for the renewal, right? For the cleansing of the history, for the foundations to be renewed. It's a bit like if you want to plant a new seed, farmers know this. You get the spade and you turn the soil. You get the fertile soil for the new earth. And right now, the soil very much needs that fertilization. It needs all the love that we're creating between us, all the unity and the music and the art and the beauty that we create is the fertility for the new earth. However, there's much more to it than that. And there's the healing and the acknowledgement of all the shit coming up and not being in denial anymore. That's really important for the new earth. But when we bring it back to the simple essence of male and female, egg and sperm, the quality of our eggs and sperms, my friends, has not been so good. We've been eating contaminated water, breathing contaminated air, drinking contaminated water, having contaminant thoughts, having contaminated emotions, having very toxic behavior, very destructive behavior to ourselves and to one another. That's not an environment for a new child. If we want a better future, we have to focus on the children. And for our focus on the children to be real, it comes back to taking responsibility for how you create those children, how you create the world for the children to live in. And how we treat our children is how we treat our inner child. So there's several different levels. I'm going to talk about this with you for the next short while. Let me just breathe for a moment. Just breathe with me. So what wants and needs to come through next? Because this has been bursting to come out of me. It's been building up. I've been so plugged in to Gaia, listening to her, feeling her, having communications through my entire body. I've been getting these, I guess you could call it womb activations. That doesn't really do it for me. I'm not quite sure how to describe it. I feel my cells changing. I feel my DNA changing. I feel physical shifts happening in my body. Many of you, especially if you're sensitive, probably are feeling this as well. Please write down if you are feeling that as well. And why? Is because it validates other people. Like, share what's happening with you if it's happening with you, because it's when we validate ourselves and we can help validate others, it's really, really helpful. So yeah, I literally feel activations, connections, new connections being made. It's like everything's changing inside my physical form on a atomic level, on a DNA level, on a quantum level. And as I really tune into this more and more, I have this communication that's happening down here in my womb that's not even done in words. It's done in feeling. It's done in knowing. It's like if you could imbibe knowing and not know why you know, but there's no doubt about it, because when you know, and there simply is no doubt. Knowledge is, you don't require a belief for knowledge. Knowledge is knowledge. Truth is truth. And so I've been feeling this expansion, if you like, of knowing, of communication and activation happening in my whole womb area, like my energy field. I can feel it in my energy field. I can feel it in my physical form. And what's being communicated to me and through me, communicated between me and me, by the way, from my womb to myself, as in this communication, my communication with Gaia, as I am being prepared as a vessel for the new earth, and also for the what wants to come through me, as in sharing this with you now. In that, basically, in an effort to put words to something that you may or may not have words for, in an effort to connect with something very visceral, very fundamental that's happening. And I'm guessing if it's happening in me, it's happening in you. I'm incredibly sensitive, and I'm aware of this, and I have been for a long time. So it's kind of almost normal for me. But for many of you, it won't be normal. And many of you, you know, everyone's got different degrees of their connection with themselves and their sensitivity. But it's like how we tune in and listen, we may get more or less of an understanding. So my sharing with you right now is in that the collective is for the collective capacity to hold this space, and the collective understanding of the heart level of what's happening, and also the collective understanding up here where it starts to make sense of your reality and what you're experiencing and what you're understanding. And it's also for the higher purpose of unity and peace happening on earth, so that we are, and so that you know you're being recognized, or you can recognize yourself, perhaps by seeing yourself in the mirror of me. Or perhaps my words will be like seeds, or my words will be like water on the seeds within you that start a process of germination, that start a process of awakening, of you to get cognizant with your own inner self, and get cognizant with the knowledge and the transformations and the evolution that is happening within you. It is my calling, if you like, for these divine frequencies to be transmitted and connected to on the collective harmonic scale. And I say it like that because, like, imagine a flute has all the different holes to enable different notes to be played for a harmony to be played. So each note needs to be tuned, each note needs to be in harmony. And then instead of just playing one note at a time, you can, and when each one is tuned to its absolute perfect pitch, then you can play an incredible harmony on that flute. You can play music, you can express, you can create, you can literally sing and orchestrate a whole new, you know, well, if it's a flute, a piece of music, but if we're talking about creation, you can create from a place of absolute harmony. So what I'm talking about here is, if you're the instrument of the divine, which you are, and you are a transmitter, a channel for the breath of life, for all life, for great spirit, for source itself, for life itself, that is breathed through you in every single moment, that is absolute presence, it is absolute knowing, it is absolute source, it is absolute truth, it is absolute love. That is your breath. It moves through you, and you have energy centers akin to the holes in the flute. And when you tune into each one and you connect your conscious mind, your ability to be aware, and you plug in and tune in with each one of these energy centers, like the holes in the flute, and you tune in and tune up and get cognizant, plug into awareness, into your within, and begin to attune the instrument of you. right? First of all, it's for you. You get attuned with you. You get self-aware. You get self-knowing. You master yourself. You unconditionally love yourself. You clean out your junk history. You clean up your foundations. You clean up the traumas that you experienced and first encountered in that moment of your birth, in that first 7 years of your life of your inner child, and the traumas you banged up against, or the traumas you were left in that empty void, bereft and in grief and alone. You know, the things that impacted you that were painful, you can't just, like I said, you can't just leave it like an old ghost and think it's going to go away. You have to go and meet it, and you have to make peace with it. You have to make peace with your past. You have to make peace with every single aspect of your inner child, and that foundation that you encountered when your beautiful divine essence landed in this body and arrived on this physical earth plane and began interacting with the world and with other humans. And what was painful, what didn't seem to serve you at the time, it needs reconciling. That's what needs voice. I'm really encouraging you. It's like we don't all need to shout out there into the world and for our voices to be heard for our cause, and want everyone to rally around our causes. What if you could just rally around your own cause? Because there's 8 billion different versions of this story. And we can't listen to 8 billion different stories, but we can listen to one. That is achievable. That is doable. You can listen to your own inner sob story, your own inner incarnation story, your own inner child's story. And you can take pity, you can empathize, you can connect with where it is in your body. This is how you tune your instrument. You just connect and you feel and you breathe and you use your hands and you use your awareness. You plug in and you listen. Engage in a relationship and listen to the story of the inner child within you, and show up with love and compassion the way that you want other people to show up with love and compassion for your particular cause, your particular issue. What if you just showed up for you? You have to only listen to one story, it's your story. You only have to support one cause, and it's your cause, it's you. You only have to wave the banners and wave the flags for yourself. Be the champion of your own divine inner child. You don't have to parent every child in this world for a better world. You just have to parent your own inner child. Just show up and be the best mother that you always wanted. Show up and be the best father. Cultivate the inner parents of you, because within every single one of us, like I said, is the male and the female human essence, the seed and the egg. Within every single one of us is that mother essence and that father essence. And they were pretty loaded. If I've got time, I'm going to share this with you, but they were pretty loaded. An essence, like anything, is a distilled drop of something. That ovum is a distilled drop of your mother and all her history. That one sperm that got through, or two if you're twins or whatever, that sperm that got through, that teensy weensy little once in a billion or however many million possibilities, that one seed that got through, that is a distilled essence of your father. Amazing, right? Incredibly distilled essences of your mum and dad, that when they fused together in that moment of Big Bang, that happened and your cells started to divide. And that memory is in every single cell in your body, and it's also in your sacral chakra center, which is down here, just above the pubic bone and below the belly button. In that sacral center is the absolute memory of that Big Bang divine conception moment, where you didn't just conceive as a child of mum and dad, you also were conceived in that moment as a child of the divine masculine, i.e. spirit, the infinite, and a child of the divine feminine, i.e. Mother Earth, matter, what appears to be solid. These two intelligences of male and female, masculine and feminine, were fused together in that moment when you were created. You were conceived, and so written inside every single part of you, within your cells, within your DNA, is coded within you, in your body, in your waters, in your mind, everywhere, is those first initial codes of your creation that created your divine essence, that created you of who you are. That incredible conception moment where you became manifest in this body right now. So your first call of order, if you like, is to clean up everything else around that. Make peace with everything else that is not yet, or has not yet, for your history so far, been in peace. And that includes the wars between the sexes. You know, women are better than men. Men are better than women. Women are worse than men. Men are worse than women. Women are more hard done by than men. Men are more hard done by the women. You know, it's the man's fault. It's the woman's fault. It's mum's fault. It's dad's fault. It's God's fault. It's, you know, whatever. All the pointing of the fingers at the male and female elements. I don't want to be a man because, you know, men hurt me. I don't want to be a woman because women hurt me. And we deny all these parts of ourselves. And what actually needs to happen, instead of trying to push it away, because guys, if we want a new earth, which we do, we want a better world, which we do, you can't forge forward out there trying to make a difference if your within is a mess and you haven't made peace with your mother and father, with your male and female within you, with your conception, with your birth, with your foundation for your entire being. Because as long as you're wrestling here within you, you will be wrestling and fighting externally. And you will never truly face your enemy. You will never concede, you will never win, because your enemy is the part of you that doesn't want to see the truth. Your enemy is the part of you that says, no, I can't do it, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to take responsibility. And that's the part that you have to love. That's the part you most need to make peace with. When you make peace with your enemies inside of you, you will open your eyes and you will not see any enemies outside of you, ever again, ever. You will never perceive anything external from you as your enemy once you have really tuned in and seen the enemy within, or what you've perceived as the enemy, the part you don't love about yourself, the part you don't like, the part you hate, the part you're always trying to ignore and deny and run away from, you know, and pretend doesn't exist. You have to face that, and you have to make friends with your enemy within, and not just make friends, but make love, unconditional love with your enemy within, so that there is no separation within you anymore, so that you're not polarized into good and bad, right and wrong, but so that you can polarize into your energy of a divine masculine and a divine feminine in the one body, because we're all made of spirit and earth. That's how we exist. You can't change that, right? And you shouldn't try. You try and change that with, you know, and there's going to be a huge backlash for this as well, the cloning and the genetic engineering and the genetic modifications and everything else that's going on, where it's fucking with nature. There will be a massive backlash on that. There has been every single civilization of human beings so far that have messed with genetics, and that's not going to change. There will be again another backlash of what happens to humanity when we mess with nature. And there are human beings out there that are severely messed with nature. There will be a backlash. And so let's not get caught up in that. Let's plug back in here and clean up our relationship with male and female, mum and dad, masculine and feminine. And let's harmonize that marriage and the marriage bed that you were born into. so that your foundations are a foundation of peace. Your foundations are a strong foundation of unconditional love. Your foundations are one of consciousness, of awareness, not of ignorance and blindness. Your foundations are one of happiness, well-being, thriving, vitality, health, wealth, joy. Transform the soils within your bedrock, like changing the sheets on the marriage bed. Let's clean it up. Clean up the toxicity so that your divine inner child essence can begin to reign supreme on this planet as the power of innocence. It's the meekest. I mean, it says in the Bible, and the meek shall inherit the earth. This is what I believe it's talking about. And not, inherit, yes, as a birthright. And inherit because we've worked for it. We have worked to reclaim our innocence, to clean up the innocence, to wipe off all the dirt and the dust and the pain and everything which didn't suit us, and just to clean it off and come back to our sublime, divine inner child essence and our innocence. And to do that, we return to our inner senses, right? Getting out of the mind, plugging into these different energy centers of connection, of intelligence, of awareness. Heart center, gut, womb, belly, base center, sexuality, the whole lot. Getting plugged into our inner senses, reconnecting to you, listening, touching, hearing, feeling, empathizing, having compassion, and reattuning your inner senses so that you can come back to your innocence, so that you reclaim your divine sovereign essence of you as a human being. This is entirely within your reach. This is doable. And this is your job, as I see it, as I experience it to be, because no one else can do that for you. You can't take that to the NHS. You can't take that on your, on your health insurance. That has to be done by you and you alone. And it's your job to make you conscious. It's your job to clean the dirt off your windows so that you can truly see. It's your job to open up the curtains of the things that you've been in denial of and step in and take ownership of you and become sovereign and become that beautiful divine innocence that you have been designed to be. And then we procreate the new earth. Only then, when you are returned to sovereignty, when you are returned to peace, cleanliness, health, unconditional love, when you are restored to that which you were created to be, and you have reclaimed yourself, then you are in a position to really procreate the new earth. Now, not everybody is going to procreate, right? So not everybody is going to hear this part, but up till now, thus far in my story, don't you think that that would be the most selfless act of service that any human being on this planet could do? Would be to return themselves to their divine origins, their divine blueprint, their divine temple of who they truly are, and be in absolute harmony. Because if we want peace on this earth, we're not going to do it by protesting. We're not going to be doing it by arguing about which side of the government is right or not right, and slandering each other on social media or through any kind of media. The way that we attain peace on planet Earth is by attaining peace here. So don't you think that it would be the most enlightened, most selfless, most courageous act of independence on Independence Day to make a decision today on Independence Day to align with your sovereignty and align with your sublime, divine inner child essence, and do whatever work is necessary for you to come into absolute harmony and peace with yourself. As an absolute matter of priority, as a matter of urgency. And I don't mean urgency as in do a rush job or that you're in a hurry to do it. I mean as a matter of priority, like a number one right now. Nothing else is more vital, is more important than each and every single one of us saying, it's me. I start here. Transformation starts with me. Peace starts with me. Love on planet Earth starts with me. Where am I not in love? Where am I not in peace? Okay, and get very, very actively curious and actively invested and actively integrated into that task of you becoming whole again and you becoming sovereign. Wouldn't that be incredible? Who wants to make that declaration of peace for Independence Day? Hands up if you want to make a declaration of peace for your own sovereign state of being today, right now. Because if you don't decide, that decision will get taken away from you and somebody else will start deciding and designing your future. You have to decide your future for you to design it. And so don't design your future from a place of dysfunction and disharmony, thinking you can create a different future, because you won't. For you to create the kind of future that you want, or let me say it like this, for you to receive the future that is waiting for you, you need to be ready. It's more like that. And if you want to be an active co-creator in the future of humanity, then get clear. Don't bring your mess into the future. Each one of us has the responsibility for that. And it's time that we really acknowledge that, you know, with as much love and compassion and understanding as we can muster, and also to take it seriously and be like, yeah, you know, your life is your business, nobody else's. You can't blame anybody else for a life that doesn't serve you. It's literally nobody else's business other than yours. So the last part I wanted to share. Thank you for being here with me, by the way. Not quite sure. I can see you're leaving comments and people are watching, so thanks for being here and thanks for watching, everybody. So the last part, how to birth and create the new earth from a place of divine innocence, from a place of clarity, from a place of peace and unconditional love. And this is where I am at right now. I have to say, I've been doing this for a long time, a really long time. So this comes as absolute second nature to me. And yet at the same time, I'm feeling so incredibly sublime, so incredibly yeah, I don't have words. There's just a feeling. And so what does this feeling want to say? This feeling wants to say that you choose your path and that you orientate yourself as a divine masculine or a divine feminine. If you have a womb, a divine feminine. If you have a prostate, a divine masculine. You orientate yourself if you feel called to. If you want to co-create and procreate the new earth, that is. If you don't want to do that, then this doesn't apply. Although, listen, it may apply. I don't even know. That's your business, not mine. That's all I can say. I can only speak from where I am. And I can't presume to know anybody else's business, right? I can just share what's going on with me. And what's going on with me is that absolute orientation into the divine feminine within me, that I am, that created me, the mother in me, the Gaia in me, the creatress in me, the goddess in me, the mother of all life within me. And that to me is so incredibly visceral. it's in every breath. It's in every breath I take, literally. It's in every mouthful that I swallow. It's in every cell of my being. It is becoming more and more. It is expanding with me, as me, through me, to me. It just is, and it's becoming more is. The isness is is expanding. And so the communication that's happening within me is a preparation for birthing the way for a new humanity. What does that mean? It means that when, I'll speak for myself, okay? When I clean the toxicity, the conditioning, the programming, the whatever, what doesn't serve, what, you know, the darkness, the ignorance, the fear, when I clean that from myself completely, and I become a clear channel, a clear flute, you'd think, okay, well, it's just like you tidy a house. You've got an empty house. You've got a nice clean house. And you start making a mess in it again. No, what's happening here with us is we are transmuting. I am transmuting. And as I've done that clearing, so something else becomes possible that wasn't possible before, when I was full of toxicity, fear, doubt, shame, but you know, the rest. It's not just creating a new foundation for this, you know, for a made up thing to happen. Oh, what would we like to happen? Oh, I know, let's reinvent humanity. Let's reinvent our societies. No, my friends, that is actually not what wants to happen at all. It's something far more profound, far more superior design and superior intelligence that is enabled to play through us as a clear instrument of divine creation and truth. So as you clean and clear your flute, you get this experience of incredible peace and harmony and bliss, which is beautiful. You win from this. But then also what happens is that divine can play through you. What the divine wants to co-create with you, the divine plan can come through. And every cell, I'll speak for myself again, every cell in my body, because of the cleaning I've done, is a nice fertile earth for something new that has never been brought forward before in humanity, is enabled to be birthed from my body. Now, I was asking a friend yesterday, how does your body know, when you're a female, how does the body know how to birth a child? How does a body know, if you've never done it before, how do you know how does every cell in your body know how to build the womb and facilitate the feeding and the growth of a child, and then to birth that child? Your mind doesn't know, but your body knows how to do it. And this is how I was able to have incredibly blissful, sublime birthing experiences with both my children, because I wasn't trying to control it with my mind. I was just letting my body do it, because I knew my body had the wisdom. Because written in the cells of my matter is the Willage and Nosdom, what am I trying to say? Knowledge and wisdom of Gaia herself, of the creators, of the divine feminine within me. And so as I have cleaned and purified this place, just through love, really, just through service to myself and to others, and love, then what happens is this template that has been latent, written underground, the divine blueprint, if you like, that is literally hidden in the earth as well. It's the earth's blue template, which is actually turning gold. It's the golden template, sorry. The blue template was the programming. The gold template is the new earth template. That is literally, I saw it many years ago, all around the earth, and it was being heightened. The volume was being turned up. It was being activated. And that golden template is also within our blueprints. Men, women, all of us, we all have the divine blueprint for the next evolved version of humanity. And so the new humanity is not going to look necessarily like we do. The new humanity, there's going to be a heck of a lot more light in these beings, for sure. Visceral, visible light, tangible, where you can touch it, light. There's going to be different frequencies in the being, in the strands of the creation of these beings. There will be different strands of DNA activating, being present, being visible, being birthed into these new human beings. I'm talking about physical beings now. I'm talking about babies. I'm talking about new spectrums of color that are visible, new sounds that are audible, new frequencies that are, audible, hearable. I'm saying quite the wrong, you know what I mean, verbal and audible. It's all, and new frequencies that are tangible through our ability to sense and feel empathically. So everything is being expanded. Our range of consciousness is massively being expanded. And as we expand our range of consciousness, so we can be a greater channel for a greater range of frequency being of our children through us. That makes sense. Basically, what my body is preparing to do is to birth new earth. Birth the new earth, birth new child, birth new children onto this earth. And I'm thinking, or I'm feeling, that it's really important that I share this with you, because I reckon it's happening with some of you as well. Some of you might be in a similar place to where I am. Some of you might actually be, still in the cleaning process. Some of you might just be watching this and going, I need to start cleaning. Some of you might be going, how do I do that? In which case I've got the tools. I've been creating them for many, many years, and it's getting to a place of being very available to millions and millions of people very soon, because that's the preparation that's been in place, because these tools are for humanity, for this birthing of the new earth. The I love you me method, it used to be called angel clearing technique, because it came through a collaboration between myself and Archangel Michael many, many years ago. And I used to teach it in a workshop called Birthing the Light Body and New Earth, New Birth. This is many, many, many years ago. So the tools have been prepared. The tools have already come through. I've been using those tools. They work. I share them with many, many tens of thousands of others. They work. However, if you have your own tools, use them. Okay? There's no shortage of tools, is what I'm trying to say. If you're looking for a how, then I have the how. If you have a different how and it works for you, great. If you have tools that haven't worked for you and you're still carrying loads of conditioning and loads of pain and struggle and illness in your body, come get mine. That's all I'm saying to you. Tools are tools. It's what you do with the tool it's important. It's your personal awakening, your personal cleansing and deconditioning, your personal coming into absolute divine alignment and realization of who you truly are as a divine, sovereign, unique being on this planet with a divine essence, a unique divine essence, and then choosing what you are going to participate in. And for me, I'm choosing to participate in birthing a new earth, birthing a new level of consciousness through me to others and to the children. Physically birthing children of a divine nature. And we're all divine, right? I'm divine, you're divine. But I'm talking about a more visible, tangible version of divinity in physical human form. Light beings, angels. I did a video on this a couple of weeks ago about birthing angels. I mean it. I've seen it coming for a long time, and it's here. And I'm I love it in a way, because I get to see what's coming, and then I've had time to prepare. And as I learn, I share it with you. And so here we are birthing this new humanity on this planet. And I just want to say, can we all prepare? In whichever way you want to prepare, from your heart, from a place of truth, prepare. Forget about all the other nonsense that is going on. That is not the most important thing that's happening on the planet right now. Trust me. I know it's dramatic and you want to catch up on every bit of news and every bit of gossip. Forget it. It's really a waste of your time. Plug into what matters, and that's plugging back into you. And then this divine plan, which has been laid so long ago, many, 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 many thousands of years ago, this plan was laid for this time. for the new earth creation. And it's not really a new earth. It's as if earth herself is finally birthing who she is. It's like we've all been in the womb in a period of what feels like to us, an incredibly long gestation, an incredibly long period of being in the womb, of the gestation and the information of humanity. And here we are ready to birth finally the new child of the universe, the new child of God and Gaia, the new child of our solar system is being birthed, and that is us. So we are simultaneously birthing into something new. You will have new activations, new genealogy, new memories coming through you, as if, you know, like me, I get memories of things that haven't happened yet. Except they have on another timeline. And you can get, you know, the new cellular, evolved cellular structure birthing through your old cellular structure, like a new plant birthing through the soil. You have a new cellular container being created as your body, as your vessel for this divine spirit to come through. That's what I'm trying to express to you. I hope you can understand my language. I'm trying to find the best words I can. I mean, to be honest, this is not coming from up here, it's just coming straight through. Okay, so I hope this language makes sense to you. And that what can you do? I was talking about that polarization. My final point is polarize into either the divine masculine or divine feminine essence that you are. Polarize into the female, the feminine, the mother, or polarize into the masculine, the male, the father, and be the parents of the new earth. Parent your inner child, parent your awakening, your birth as a new child of the universe, as you are going through this transformation right now. And you can be prepared to parent the new earth, the new children that are coming through in one way or another. So for the females out there, for the women, plug into your womb, plug into your cervix, your sacral. Listen to what's happening from within you and follow the guidance of the divine feminine within you. Prepare, if you are wanting this to happen for you, prepare to birth. And it really doesn't matter how old you are. You know, I'm 47 and a half soon, and I don't consider myself too old to birth at all, because if anything, I'm becoming younger on a cellular level, because our new timelines, the energies that our planet is immersed in right now, we are in a massive cloud, if you like, or energy vortex or band of photon energy all around the planet. We've been traveling through it now for quite a number of years, and we're gonna, you know, it's taking us somewhere. It's a capsule of energy taking us somewhere, and we are in a massive cloud of photon energy, which is exactly the same vibration as unconditional love. Some people, you call it 5D, angelic frequency, love frequency. It's having its impact. It is transforming us like a caterpillar inside the cocoon. Whether we like it or not, you can struggle or you can let go. And the more you let go, the more beautiful you will become, the more pure you will feel, the more enlightened you will be, and the less pain you're going to experience. Right? If you're the dissolving caterpillar inside the cocoon, freaking out and fighting and wriggling and screaming and having a go at everyone around you, it's going to be an ugly transformation for you. It's not going to be joyful. It's not going to be as incredible and beautiful and enlightening as it could be for you. So stop the struggle. You're just a caterpillar dissolving to become a butterfly, or you're just like the dragonfly pupae. Is that the right word? Pupae, dissolving and unfurling and stretching out to become the dragonfly. You are going through massive cellular genetic transformation. The more that you let go and surrender to it and just let the process unfold and plug in and enjoy it and become conscious of what's happening, the more expanded, the more beautiful, the more free, the more absolutely blissed out you're going to be. It's going to be incredible. Birth is designed to be beautiful, not painful. It's only our resistance to it and our fear that causes the pain. Trust me, it is literally the most sublime, incredible experience that you could ever, ever, ever have in a human body. And so let it unfold. Let your birth be blissful. Let your birth be beautiful, and plug in and go with the flow and trust it and be conscious, and you will really enjoy it. And so as a female, to just clear anything else that gets in the way of that and argues with that, and just go and deal with it, and come into your womb, come into your birthing energies, and listen for what wants to happen through you. You know, listen to your breath, listen to the creatress, listen to your cells, listen to your womb, and pay attention and be guided, because you are completely loved, held safe and protected and guided through this whole thing. And not by me, obviously. I'm just a messenger to point you back in the direction of you and say, go look into you. That's where the learning happens, is in here. And if you're a masculine, you're a man, you have a prostate, whether you have a prostate still or well, if you have a prostate, then you can procreate. If you don't have a prostate, you can still create, right? This is what I'm saying. Same with if you have a womb or not a womb. If you have a womb and you want to procreate, then amazing. And you will attract your divine masculine to you to procreate. Trust me, that is absolutely a done deal. That is happening. And if you don't have a womb, you just feel the energies. You can mother the new earth in your own beautiful way, right? And it's the same for the masculines. Whether you have a prostate or not, whether you're still fertile or not, it doesn't matter. Prepare yourself and you will become fertile again if you want to be, depending on what you choose, all right? Or depending on what's meant for you. Just listen and align with what the universe is trying to give you, with what source is trying to give you and line up for you. And if you don't have a prostate and you just want to father and hold space, create safe space for yourself and for your beloved. Create safe space for your children. Protect them and shield them, but not with disinformation and lies to try and protect them from the truth. Protect your children with the truth, fathers. Protect your children by telling them exactly how you feel and what you need and what you want for them, and listen for what they want, because they're the wisest people on the planet, are the children. Listen to them and be a real family. Communicate together and decide together what's best for the family. And you fathers can hold the space for that. With your heart, with your big, enormous, beautiful hearts and your big, beautiful, enormous fatherly arms and holding, you can hold those that you love and allow this birthing that's happening in every single human being, right? This new birthing is happening through every single one of us. Hold the space for that. Hold the space for yourself. Don't allow the bullshit to encroach in and contaminate your sacred space of your family, of your home, of yourself. Don't allow the lies and fear to get in, okay? Disengage. It's not real. Men, you need to hold a safe space for this earth. And it means really basically stop fucking around, okay? Stop trying to scatter your seed left, right, and center. You just need to focus and make your seed potent. You need to put love into your seed. You need to get clear, because when you distill your seed, men, that's a very potent drop of all that you are. And if largely what you are is a big bag of mess and a big bag of trauma and unresolved harmony and a lot of ego, that's the seed that you are planting for the future generations. And then your future children are going to have to deal with all the shit that you dumped on them, and they're going to have to clean it up, just like you're having to clean up from your parents' mess, okay? So it's not about passing the buck forward or passing the buck back or any passing of any bucks. It's not about laying of blame. It's simply about acknowledging the actual truth of that and taking responsibility, and clean up your seed, clean up your act, get focused. You only need one woman in this life, and you only need one sperm. You only need one seed a very, very, very potent unconditional love put into a container, a receiver, a feminine, an ovum, a sacral of unconditional love. And when these two incredible potent forces of masculine and feminine come together, of unconditional love feminine, unconditional love masculine, and you consciously procreate, just get a sense of that. That's the world we're talking about, a world of love, a world of unconditional love. Nothing else right now matters as far as I'm concerned. This is what I'm being directed. This is what I'm being channeled and told. And so this is what I'm being completely guided to share with you. Women do the same thing. Exactly the same as I said to the men. We have to clean up. Clean up your sexual energy, clean up your sexual traumas, clean up all your fears, all of us. Get really focused, because when we polarize into our masculine and feminine, and we unconditionally love all that we are, we will attract our divine counterpart. We attract our divine equal and opposite, who will either co-create or procreate this new earth with you. So conscious coupling is happening. Conscious co-creation is happening. Conscious procreation is happening. And just like with procreation, you receive a gift. You don't type in and kind of design your child. Your genetics designs the child, and the child has its own unique blueprint as well. It's a divine gift. You don't have to make that up. And this is what I'm talking about, receiving what Source, Creator, the bigger plan wants to give you. Be ready to receive. It might not come in the package you expect it. It probably won't. But it's going to be everything you always wished for, everything you always wanted, everything you always needed. Get ready, it's coming. And be ready to receive. Because co-creation and procreation isn't about trumpeting the cause. It's about receiving what wants to be. And that takes humility, and that's true love. True love is humble. True love is very humble. And you have to be in a humble place to let love in. Right? Otherwise you're going to miss it. Love is what is the currency. Love is the currency of the new earth. Love is that ocean of mutual devotion, self-devotion, other devotion, devotion of all beings, ocean of devotion, devotion of life itself. This new earth is about really laying the template, allowing that golden blueprint not to be underground anymore, because it's on the surface. It is here now, manifesting. The divine plan is manifesting. It's already written. The blueprint's written. It's now just manifesting, and we are the vehicles, the vessels through which it manifests. So be ready to receive the codes, be ready to receive the light, be ready to receive the guidance, be ready to receive the designs for the things that want to be created. We don't have to imagine them and come up with them. We enable them to come through us, because you are perfectly designed for a specific purpose to come through you. And you won't be able to imagine that or think that up with your head. It's just going to come through you when you humble, when you surrender, when you prepare to receive, and when you prepare to be a channel, a co-creator of unconditional love on this planet. So that's my message today. That's my message today. I love you. I was going to say, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, just watch it again. What is there but love? What is there but love? There's nothing else worth living for. That's who we are. That's all there is. That's what's manifesting on the earth at this time. And there's no better place to be than in love, in the love that you are, in the love that is coming through you, that's being given to you, and in the love that wants to meet you and create with you. So get ready for love, my friends, because that's the new earth. And so much love to you. Thank you for watching. Please share this with others. If you feel this message is important, let's just share it, okay? Let's create the tsunami of love. It's a self-revolution happening on this planet. If you want to know more about what I'm sharing, I've actually never shared this message ever before. I've shared bits of it in my courses for the last 12 years, 13 years. I've never actually shared this message as whole and complete as I've done today, but now is the time, and I'm going to be sharing a lot more like this. In fact, you're going to see it manifesting through me at some point, you know, as we see it manifesting through all of us, as we all you know, birth our new bodies, birth our new earth. So yeah, just check out my website, taraloveperry.com, or you can go to the new website, beautiful new website, everyone, iloveyoume.love. And it's still right in the very early stages. It's just been the preliminary stage of it has been designed. So much more coming. There's already things there for you that you can enjoy that are free. Please go participate. Please take part in the self-evolution. Please take part in birthing the new earth in the most incredibly blissful and sublime way and empowering way that you can. And I love you. And I'll see you on the inside.